Hello, my friends. I hope you are doing well. Previously, we talked about the data structure and we review completely list and every method related to list. Today, we want to continue the data structure tutorial, and today we want to talk about dictionary, tuple, and set. So we want to start with dictionary. So what is dictionary? And an example of dictionary can make it clear. So let's me define a simple dictionary and I will explain what is dictionary and how we can use dictionary in different situations. So the name of dictionary can be my dictionary. So my dictionary. To define dictionary, we use curly brace. And as I mentioned here, dictionary is a pair of the key and the value. So we need to define dictionary in this format. So for example, I want to define a dictionary about the product, and the product is the car. So I can say here, the key is car, and the value can be different kinds of car. For example, Benz, or maybe a list of different cars. For example, Benz, BMW, and maybe one more can be Kia. Okay, so to define next dictionary, we need a separator here, and then we can define, for example, color. And colors can be again a list. For example, black and just white. Okay, so we need a, for example, license, and maybe we have a license. So it can be true. So we can put a boolean as a value as well. And maybe that's a number. We can say something like uh, total average product. Maybe a number. I don't know, for example, 1000. Okay. So we define a simple dictionary. If I want to just print this dictionary, I can say here my dictionary, and you can see this is a dictionary. The car name, colors, license, and total average prod. These are our keys. The values, we have two lists, one Boolean value and integer value. Even we can use the float number here, so that is possible, even list instead of the list, so all of them are possible. So in this case, this is a dictionary, a combination of a pairs of key and values. But how we can actually access just two keys? In this case, we can say my dictionary, and we can use the keys. So we can see in the output, there we go, we have car, colors, license, and total average prod. So in this case, these are our four keys for this dictionary. What about the values? In this case, we can see my dictionary, and again, we can use values. So if you check the inside of the values, you can see here dictionary values. Okay, so it's the method that we can use to just print the all values related to this dictionary. But is there any way to have all of them together in a actually one output? You can use the item. This is really practical, especially when we want to use the loops in the future videos. You can see when we want to loop the dictionary, we can use easily items to loop on pairs of the key and value. But here, very simple, I can say my dictionary, and I can say items. And if I check inside of that, you can see items, a set-like object providing a view on DS items. It means that all of the items. D is a dictionary here, okay? So if we just control shift and enter, you can see here we have all the keys and values here together. The most important note here you need to know is dictionary is like list mutable. It means that you can change the value of the different keys And this is really important things. For example, let me show you with an example. If first of all, if you want to actually add a new key value, it is really flexible and you can do that. For example, let me add in my dictionary a new key. For example, something like price. Okay, so we have a price here, and just consider the price is 2000. So I didn't have any price key inside of my dictionary. I just added here, and now the value is 2000. So here I can maybe print the previous list. So print previous version of dictionary, and the previous is my dictionary, so I can use my dictionary here, and I have here print new version of dictionary, and again my dictionary. Let's do that. Okay, so the problem is here I didn't put it like actually key and value. So if you want to define a new key and value, you need to say here the key name is my dictionary price, and inside of that put the value of 2000. So this is the correct way to define a new key and value. It must work. And you can see here the previous version of the dictionary, we didn't have any price in the key, but in the new version we have actually price. So this is really important. Another note that is really important is we can change, because mutability help us to change values inside of the dictionary. So just again, we have my dictionary, and I like to change the value of the license to false. So I just can say license again, but the value in this case is false, and again print my dictionary. So if the dictionary is not mutable, I cannot actually allocate a new value to license. But if it is mutable, I can allocate a new value to my previous key. So let's check that. So you can see that here in my dictionary update, I have license false. So the dictionary is a mutable data structure. Okay, so it's about the dictionary. I hope it was simple for you. But we have some method about dictionary. It's not bad to cover that. The first one is pop. We are familiar with the pop, and we use pop when we talk about the list and return a value that can be even stored as a variable. So let's use that. So again, let's print my dictionary. So this is the dictionary we have. We have 4 different keys and 4 different values. Let's use the pop. I can say here, my dictionary, I want to pop something. But just keep in mind, when we want to use the pop, it means that we need to introduce one key to pop that, okay? So I want to actually store the license. I want to say license permission. This is my variable, and I want to store my dictionary pop, and here I want to use license. And let's print the status of my license permission. That is my license permission. Okay. So you can see here, status of my license permission is false. So we just store this key and value inside of a separate variable. It can be practical in different scenarios. So we just actually pop this value from these keys and store it in the license permission. But there's a little bit difference between pop and pop item. In pop, we store the value instead of the license permission, but in pop item, to pop last key value. So it's not just about a value, it is the last key and value by default. So for example here, I can say my dictionary, and this time I'm going to use pop item. And if you check inside of that, you can see here, remove and return a key value pairs. Pairs return last in first out order. Okay, so after that I like to print my dictionary again, so we will see what happens. Okay, the reason is because we pick up this one first time, so we don't need this one again. So now you can see to print my dictionary first I had this 3, but now the total average prod is actually pop, so we don't have the total average prod more, and the pop item actually, like a pop in the list, just try to actually pick up all of the key and values here. So it was about the dictionary methods, pop and pop item, but we have another useful thing. This is update. Update is a method that can help us to add a new, or even does not exist inside of our dictionary. What does it mean? For example, let's print our dictionary again. So our last version of dictionary is this one. We have 3 keys: car, colors, and license. And I want to update something here. I want to add in new things first of all. For example, I want to say my dictionary, and I want to update something. So I need to define a key value here. Okay, this is important to update something. So I can say here, I want to define a new key, and this can be, for example, a float number this time, like rate, and this is capital, it's better. And rate can be, for example, 4.87 out of the 5. Okay, and now if I just again print my dictionary, so let's compare these two together, and you can see here we have a new item, and this is rate, and even we can actually update another existing key, for example license. Let's test that. For example, here I say again update my dictionary, update, and here I want to say update license again, and put it again true. And let's check my dictionary. So again, the license is true, but we have 2 license because I add another license to the list. So we had a license true, and again we have another license true. So this is different ways that we can actually update something, we can add something, or anything. But if you don't like to add a repeat license twice, you can actually use the immutability of the dictionary to just update the dictionary. Okay, so what about the tuple? Tuple is a little bit different from dictionary and list because tuple is immutable. It means that you cannot change the members of the tuple. How to define a tuple? I can say my tuple. And to define tuple, we use parentheses. So here I can say for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a tuple. And if I just print the type of my tuple, you can see here that's the class of the tuple. So why tuple is important? When we can use a tuple? Tuple is a kind of data structure you cannot change or update the members. So the reason is because in some situation, for example, just imagine you have a password database. You don't like the people come and change the password inside of your database. So in this case, it's good to use the tuple. So this immutability can be useful in different scenarios, especially about the passwords. But again, instead of the tuple, we have a slicing, so we can use the slicing instead of the tuple. So here, for example, I can say my tuple, and I can use the slicing. For example, I can reverse my tuple. If you remember, this was the way we can reverse the tuple. So you can see here 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The original one was from 1 to 5. So the slicing still working with the tuple. The only difference with the list and dictionaries tuple is immutable. We cannot change and we will receive the error. Let's test that. For example, here we can say my tuple, and I want to change the, for example, first index. You know that the 0 is the first index in our actually uh, uh, indexing. So always in the Python, index starts from the 0. So my expectation is I want to change this 1 to a new number, for example, 1000, and I will receive error, definitely. You can see here the error. The error is tuple object doesn't support item assignment. It means that it is immutable, and we have a type error. We will talk about the type error and different error, but just skip this part. I can say try to do this one, and I can say accept and accept type error as error. In this case, just print error and print tuple is immutable. Okay, so just skip this error handling. We will talk about that in the next videos, and just this is a way we can actually handle this ugly message here. Let's try it again, and you can see this time we have a class tuple. It's okay. Tuple object doesn't support item assignment. Tuple is immutable. Okay, this is more better and stylish compared to previous version. Okay, this is about the tuple and set. What is set? Set is really practical in the cases you want to actually return the unique values. What does it mean? Let's define a set. Set my set. And the way we can define set is again using the curly brace. Let's define a set. Okay, so we have 3, 1, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, so let's just print my set. What is your expectation? I have 7 members here, but when I just print that, it just actually here in the output, I can see my 4 unique values. It means that we have not 3, 1 here. However, in my set, I have defined 3 different 1, but set consider all of them as 1 because they are unique values. So it doesn't matter how many 9, how many 1, how many 2 you have here, it just consider unique, okay? So we have 4 values here. And there are different actually methods about the set. I just try to cover some of the important one like intersection and union. Let's define 2 different sets. For example, set 1. I want to say it's 1, 2, 3, very simple. And set 2 is again very simple. For example, 3, 4, 5. This is 2 different sets. I can use intersection, and you can see what is intersection. Set 1 intersection with set 2. So we will see what happened when we use intersection. So here you can see it just return the value that is common between 2 different sets. Instead of set 1 dot intersection, we can use even something like this, and the result is the same. So you can see the result is 3. So this is the intersection sign, okay? So this is intersection. Another thing is union. For example, I can say set 1 union set 2, and you can see it tried to collect all unique values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the union. And again, for union, we can use set 1, set 2, and this is the sign of the union. And you can see the answer is the same. So that's all. Let's do a recap very fast. We defined the dictionary, and we found that dictionary is pairs of the key and value, how to access the keys, just values, and this items is really practical when we want to work with the loops. The dictionary is mutable. It means that we can change the value of every key and update them. And even we can define a new key with a square bracket. We have a different dictionary method like pop item, and update. We talk about the tuple. Tuple is immutable, and slicing is the same. And if we actually try to use a tuple as a mutable version, it's not possible, and we have an error. And we had just do a little bit error handling here, and we'll talk about that later. Don't worry about that. And set, try to return just unique values. That's all about the data structure, and the data structure part is finished. Thank you so much, and bye bye.